JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Logging out, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Thursday. I don't know what day it is. Hang on. Happy Thursday. Pile on in. Avert your attention to the poll in the chat. We got a pumpy market. I don't know what's going on, but Bitcoin's up 2%. Let's freaking go. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Let's see. I don't know why we're pumpy. That's a great question. What's going on, Waterfly? Tom Selleck Scoped. I have zero answers, but what I can tell you is that you should smash the like button. You should smash the like button, and you should go vote in the poll what you think the answer is. With the strategic reserve oil release, will gas at the pump actually decrease? I literally did not intend on that rhyming, and I did not even know that it rhymed until I read it out loud just now. Again, same thing as yesterday. If you can guess where I am right now, you win $10 to get probably 1 gallon of gas of your choice. What's going on, Philly? Philly said, I'm tired of everything. Me too. I'm actually really amped up. I just got done working out. I'm kind of tweaking, but I am excited. The market's pumpy, guys. I don't know why. Bitcoin's $71,880 and $869. Let me go see really quick. Let's just go see. Do we have any news? Let me go to Watcher Guru, and then I'm going to skip a bunch. Kobayashi letter. They'll probably be one of the first to post about it, as far as I'm aware. No, they're just talking about Bitcoin 72K and Kobayashi letter. Record 6% of workers in Vanguard managed 401k, took hardship withdrawals. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing that I'm aware of. What I'm going to do, because I have this website that I check for really immediate, up-to-date, right the heck now news. It is called financialjuice.com. Financial Juice, Juice, not the other word that it kind of sounds like. 2023. So 10 minutes ago. Let's see. Australia's energy minister modifying minimum stock obligation for diesel and fuel. 5-year Japanese government bond rises. Australia is allowing the release. Oh. Australia energy minister is allowing the release of a bunch of gas. Maybe that's why? That doesn't really make any sense. Does it? Okay, hang on. I gotta freaking log in because they're tweaking. Come on. I don't know what my username is. that right? No? How about that? Oh, I got it. Okay. All right, I'm just going to pull this over here so we can see it. That Pulse player said, it's pumpy because tomorrow is payday and I gotta wait till midnight to DCA and miss the pump. Happens every time, lol. Tom Salt Scott said, man, I was gonna make the juice joke, but JJ beat me to it. Yeah. I mean, it's topical. Somebody drove their truck into a place of worship today in Michigan. Like not far from where I live. There's people driving trucks into churches. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, Australia's releasing a bunch of gas, which is great. Japanese bond 50 future decline, blah blah blah. Nothing really jumping out at me. South Korea budget ministry draft extra budget without new bond issuance to minimize market impact. U.S. fired an Iranian vessel that approached the USS Abraham aircraft earlier this week, officials tell CBS News. Get out of here, man. There's nothing. But maybe this gigantic oil release from Australia? Why do they just have so much? 762 million liters. That's why. Because nobody even knows what a liter is. Everyone's confused. Franco said, OMG, did you see the guy who lost 50 million? They're actually giving it back. I did see that, Franco. I don't know if he lost 50 million or if that's what he got back. Let me see. Because I have that too. Somebody did lose a lot of money. But I think that Ave... This is the second problem Ave's had in the last, 48 hours. So I think Ave is reimbursing him or something. I could be wrong. Maybe I misread. There's 8... Maybe there's multiple things that Ave has had a problem with. And they're reimbursing one guy. Right here. A 50 million USDT trade through cow swap resulted in severe slippage and a user received 324 Ave. 600K in fees to be refunded. Yeah. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I guess he paid $600,000 more than he should have or something. Who knows, man? It's crazy. He can't get the 50 million back, bro. 50 million went to bots. 600K in fees to be refunded. Okay, well, they're giving him something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the heck cow protocol is either. So, it doesn't matter if he can't get it back. If Ave steps up, especially if they're getting a bunch of negative press lately, if some other issue happens and they want to, they probably have the money to reimburse people. So, I don't know, man. Anyways, guys, don't forget to check out the poll in the chat. Tom Selleck Scott said, everyone talking about the loss, no one talking about the one dude trying to full port 50 million by 3% of the supply. Okay. Let's see. Bitcoin, $71,733.42. We are up 1.67% on the day. Pulling back a little bit. We were up 2% at one point. NASDAQ is up. We're getting a little bounce on the NASDAQ. S&P, we're not going to know until tomorrow. 66.72. Gold is up 0.59% on the day. We are still stuck in this range in between 5,000 and 5,200 on gold. Having trouble getting above 5,200 for some reason. 5,240 was the latest touch, but that was too brief. I'm still going to consider 52 the real top right now. Jake Dorton said, Suppy. What's going on, Jake Dorton? Tom Selleck, he's getting 600K refund of fees. He still lost 49 million. Okay, well, that sucks. So the way that I read it earlier was that he first, I don't read the entire thing when I go through to prep for the stream. Otherwise, it could take me 4 hours. It already takes me an hour to prep for the stream. But I glanced at it and I thought some guy spent $650 million on something and he lost 50 and they were just refunding him the full amount or something. I don't know. Maybe he got 50 and he lost 600. I just glanced at it. That's crazy. Aave is just the middleman. The 50 million went to many bots on chain after Aave matched them up. The reason Aave is trash is because they have a platform that allows us negative 99% slippage like this. So it's up to you though to usually cap the slippage. I'm sure that there was a warning. The guy probably set his slippage to infinity like an idiot. Even then, you shouldn't be spending that much money if you can allow yourself to, if you have that much money you've thrown around, man, you gotta check everything. You gotta check everything. And Aave being the middleman does nothing if it's a liquidity problem or a slippage problem with I don't know. There's situations where Aave could still reimburse the guy, where it was like on Aave's end, and Aave kind of profited the money. This was not one of those situations, but that's not always the case. So what just happened recently? The Oracle thing. Aave, there was an Oracle problem on Aave yesterday, and they reimbursed all those people because they got liquidated, and the money didn't go to bots. Like, the money went to Aave, and Aave was like, "Oops, my bad." And then it could be a competitor that's trying to kill Aave with bad press. Dude, there's so much bad press about Aave going on this past like 2-3 days. It's weird. Philly said, JJ, I just read that story. I'm kind of calling BS. Number one, who puts their eggs in one basket of Aave, and who the F does a $1 million order using market buy? With DeFi, it's a little bit different, Philly, but that's essentially what he did, was market buy. So yeah, so sometimes it'll be publicity like that. Like that, there was a story where an AI bot accidentally sent like their whole entire portfolio to some guy begging underneath their post. They went to send it $50 and they sent him like $250,000 or something, and that was big, and that bot blew up. So here's the incentive, because I know for a fact that you can control, like if I make an AI agent on X and it's labeled AI agent on X, like officially, I can still post from that account. Me, not just the bot. So that can be manipulated, and then the bot can be like, uh-oh, I sent $250,000 to this random guy who's replying to all of my posts. So then everyone and their brother is like, oh my gosh, this stupid bot is going to send me money if I just spam the crap out of them on X. So then this guy's bot account is suddenly rolling in $100K a month because he faked some $250,000, thing where people that reply to his posts accidentally get money. You know what I mean? It's good incentive to fake a little story like that, and it's not hard at all, unless obviously you don't have $250,000, but you could fake that with 1,000. Slip safe. Franco said could be competitor. Joe Avenger said he saw the warning and still sent through the transaction. That's my thing. Tom Salscode says slippage FU iPhone keypad. Oh, slip. I read that as slip safe. I thought that was good branding. I was like, slip safe is a good. It's a good like third party protocol. Franco said, yeah, it wasn't necessarily slippage. Yes, it was price impact. Yes. What? I think it was slippage. I think it's been confirmed as slippage. Tom Salkscott said reading the warning and checking the box and understanding it are two different things. It's why you should always limit buy and sell. So with DeFi slippage, it's not a box that you check. You can set your slippage. Like I can tell it, I only ever want my market orders to go through within a 5% window. I can tell it 1% or 0.5%. You can tell it whatever percent you want. I can tell it 100%. And then I'll get completely ran through the mud. But you get that choice as the user. That's why it's decentralized finance. That's why it's supposed to be like for the user. You should have done a test transaction first. I don't know, when you're a dumbass throwing around 50 million at a time, you probably deserve it. Franco said, shake my head, DeFi crypto kind of sucks, to be honest. I've gotten beaten up by slippage a few times myself, or transaction that couldn't go, still got charged. To be honest, crypto is perfect just for laundering. JY, that's why it's such a weird transaction, kind of fishy. JY, as I said, well, if you see a warning and still push it through the transaction, that's on you. It's like if you get a warning project as a honeypot and you still buy it. Exactly. SPL8140 said, I'm just happy that I get to eat my goy slop. JY, as I said, with price impact, it's liquidity. The transaction didn't have enough liquidity. Yes, that is true. 72K rejected so far. Yes, Franco said, I heard he set it to 1% slippage. It was price impact that killed him. If that's the case, then that's crazy. I don't know. We'll read about it in the news segment. Gold 5108. Mild recovery here. We'll see if that continues to the upside. Silver is up 1.24%. Bouncing off of, I guess, 84. Arbitrary number. We'll see if it recovers. It is still struggling to get back above that moving average on the RSI. DXY. DXY pumpy. 99.64. This is the highest it's been in a while. Highest candle close, at least. It's been a very long time. Since December, since last year. This is the highest it's been in 2026 so far. Are we going to get above 100 on the DXY? What do you guys think? Dow Jones Industrial 46,681. Again, if you are a criminal, you're probably going to prison because the Dow is below 50,000. NASDAQ up 0.37, 24,603. Are we going to get a bounce here? Or is this scary, scary skeleton fractal going to play out? Let me just do a little bit of goalpost moving. Don't mind me. We'll see what plays out. 24 though. I guess our current low is around 24 flat. So we'll see if we hold that. S&P down 1.52%. This is a lower low as far as candle body closes go, but this is on the 4 hour. So let's check the daily really quick. Yeah, lower low on the daily as well. At least on this shorter term section, still a higher low when considering November 2025 low. We'll see what plays out. I don't like that we're below 67.50, but we're still above 66, I guess. I don't know. That's another goalpost arbitrary thing. Nvidia down 1.55%. Nvidia has some Palantir stuff going on. It's a little sus. I'm like, ooh, I don't really like that. Palantir's like got their fingers up my butt while I'm trying to sleep, you know. I'm not a big fan. And Nvidia, you know, Jensen Huang's like, I want to do that. Can I do that? And Palantir's like, come on over here. Give it a try. It's kind of creepy, man. It's kind of creepy. Franco said, or no, Philly said, JJ, can you run the story through Grok? I mean, not. Yeah, we'll ask Grok when we get there. Franco said Grok explained the carnage to several people that asked Philly. It's a true story. It was brought up most people on Twitter by a tweet from Ovid. So here's the thing: is it can still be a not so true story. If we're let me go tinfoil really quick. We got to be prepared for this. So Franco floated the idea earlier, and this is always a possibility, that it's a competitor trying to make Aave look bad. So you're the competitor. You have a $50 million budget for a smear campaign. What do? You set up a couple sandwich bots, and you do a $50 million transaction. And then that transaction is a bust. Your sandwich bots profit. Nobody pays attention to those. But your $50 million is gone, and then you go on X. You're like, oh, my $50 million because Aave's garbage. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, Aave is garbage. Look at that guy. And he's over here. He's like, my $50 million. Reading off of a script. And everyone's like, holy crap, Aave sucks. We don't want to use Aave. And then that same guy is like behind the curtain with his phone posting a tweet from his company, which is the Aave competitor. And they're like, come check this out. This won't happen to you over at Not Aave. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Not Aave is amazing. They don't have bots and slippage problems. That's amazing. That's just my 2 cents. A little tinfoil. Okay. Nvidia 182.90. Yeah, they got that creepy Palantir news. I don't know if it happened after the market closed though, so we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. Why are you in a hotel room? Oh yes, topical. Again, same as yesterday. Tom Selleck's Go got it yesterday. If you guys can guess where I am today, then you win $10. It is related to the title, or I guess the hint is in the title and the description. Same as yesterday. So $10 on the line. I will reveal my location at the end of the stream. If you can give me the exact address or the name, then you will win. If you name like the general location, I will let you know. I'll let you know if you're getting close. Tom Stockscout said, "Why is there a camera in the hotel room?" Well, just for the record, when I was in Georgia, I brought my whole rig with me. The only thing I didn't bring was my desk. I actually brought a folding table, and that worked pretty good. So when I go to Georgia next, you guys will be with me, and it'll probably look just like this. But this is not Georgia. This is not. I'll give you guys a hint. This is not Georgia. Hampton Inn, no. It is not a franchise. All right, Tesla, 3.14, Pi down 3.14. It is it's showing a little bit of resistance at our parabola line. So we'll see if that ends up curving up or not. I don't know. I like that it started off pretty dumpy, and then it slowed down, and now it's like really slowing down. You know, you can kind of see the curvature start. Maybe it eventually start to curl up. Again, the arbitrary nature of the parabola is that you can kind of modify it to fit whatever narrative you need it to be, which is why we have two. The general idea is that it'll potentially continue this upwards trajectory over time. It just kind of blew up a little too fast. We go back to the scaffolding analogy. You have to build, if you build one wide scaffolding all the way up, it's going to be really rickety. You're going to be at risk of blowing over, falling over. You know, you get up too high, you fart, you fall over. If you build it wide and then you start to build up, you got a lot better foundation to build upon. And then eventually when you get up high, you're going to feel a lot safer. You can fart all you want. So we want to be able to fart. That's the TLDR. Okay. Tesla, 395.66, looking good. Strategy, aka Big B Coffee, in case you guys are not aware, the reason I call it Big B Coffee is because the logo, the new strategy logo, the Bitcoin B with the whatever burnt orange, is the exact same orange from Big B Coffee. Sailor actually works there. It's pretty crazy. Down 0.72. I will say, jokes aside, Sailor has been buying so hard. It's pretty epic how much Bitcoin Sailor has bought in the last month. In the last week, he's just started buying like crazy. I don't know where he's getting money. I think he stole Jerome Powell. I think he has Jerome Powell hostage, and he's just printing money. Because everybody knows Jerome Powell carries the money printer on him at all times. It's pretty crazy stuff. This is very hot. I cannot drink it yet. And I don't think blowing in the little blowhole is going to help. The Sailor FUD is back. The STRC, or whatever it's called from Strategy, is buying a ton of Bitcoin. Yes, they are. Okay. Let's see. Maybe DeFi start exploding now. Yeah, that'd be sick. All right, dominance. Bitcoin dominance, 59.3. We seem to have rejected 59.5, which is good. But it does look like we're going for attempt number 2. We'll see if we can break above that or not. 88 metals. What's going on? Happy Thursday. I don't know what day it is today. Is it Thursday? Today's Thursday, yes. Cool. GOS Venture said, new thing he has set up called STRC. I don't know that it's new. I think it's new to us because we're so used to talking about strategy, but I think STRC has been where he's gotten most of his money anyways. Okay. Bitcoin, up 1.02. We're shedding some of our upside. Maybe that was a Sailor buy. Maybe that's what that was. 71,260 current price. Lunar Entity thinks things are going to get spicy on Saturday because that's when Trump admin has been announcing all their crazy stuff. Yeah, STRC pays 11.5%. So they're basically kind of hedging on the fact that Bitcoin's going to go up over time. And they're going to pay you dividends. They're going to sell other shares to pay you. And they're going to use the bulk of the money to buy Bitcoin. And then over time, it'll probably be incredibly profitable. I guess the next leg down would be from Sailor. He seems depressed in his interviews. Does he? Maybe he's sober. I haven't watched a Sailor interview in a long time. Regardless of what happens to the guy, if he goes the way of John McAfee, I hope not. But I will say he's got some brilliant quotes, and he said some cool, fun stuff. He's a cool dude. I got respect for him. My favorite Sailor quote is, Bitcoin is the exit strategy. And I believe it. I live by that. 88 Metals Mania said, it says close to $100 is possible. It stays close to $100 is possible. Hotel 101 Madrid? No. Again, if you guys are not aware, if anyone's just now joining us, if you can guess where I am, you win $10 for the day. It is topical to the title and the description. Where am I? Joe Has Avenger said, the only one buying Bitcoin, that's a whale. All right. We went through Bitcoin. ETH is up 2%, $2,114, seemingly rejecting this purple trend line. Is this trend line relevant? Let's see. Hold on. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Waterfly said, Sailor is tired of answering the same questions over and over to the idiots. Yeah, I would be too. See, this is my biggest concern with ETH, is that this trend line goes all the way back to 2020. It's a 6-year-old trend line. It's not huge, but it is kind of a big deal. We got to fake out below it before back here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were doing the same thing. But I do want to get above it. I want to get back above it. If we stay below it for too long, I'll start to get a little spiced out. But so far, we're trying, man. We're trying. We're pretty close. The daily looks pretty good. Like, we've had some pretty consistent green. JJ, are you in New York? I am not in New York. 2,114. Let's see if we can get above 2,150 on ETH and sustain some upside. Careful with that 4-hour RSI, though. Green dot of the momentum waypoint of the upside. Money flow did just flip green. This has not closed yet, though, so we got to keep an eye on that. If that stays green, then we got potential for further upside with a little more support behind us, a little more gusto. Solana's up 3.27%. This right here, I think, is the ultimate sign that Solana will probably outperform most of the top 10 when we do rebound, seeing as how it did actually get pushed down to number 7. Solana got pushed down to number 7. Oh no, my earring gets cut out. I never realized that. My earring gets cut out. Ew! It looks like I got a hole in my head. That's creepy. Oh! Dang. They got me with that Trump ear. Have you ever stayed in this hotel, Brand? I have not. And if you know anything about me, you know that I probably never will. Because I refuse to get on an airplane. Alright. Solana, $89.66. We're potentially rejecting 90. We do want to get above 90 and hold above it. I'm excited to see this push. Damn. 88 Metals Mania got it. How did you get that? That's crazy. I am in, I believe it's called, yeah, it's just the Hormuz Hotel. I don't know. Am I allowed to do an accent? Is that racist? I'm in the Hormuz Hotel. I'll do it with a Midwestern accent. I'm in the Hormuz Hotel. So, congratulations, 88 Metals Mania. Are you on Discord? I mean, I guess if you don't mind publicizing, you can just send your Solana wallet in the chat here on YouTube. Otherwise, hit me up on Discord. But I'm gonna confirm that it's you before. So maybe just send it here. Sounds racist. Damn you, Waterfly. Alright, congratulations, 88 Metals Mania. That was fast, man. I'm impressed. No Discord? Alright, send me a Solana address in the chat then, I guess. Or a Cardano address, if you're a Cardano guy. Or like a cash tag if you got Cash App. I don't know. Cash App would be easy as well. Well, no, because then I guess I'll dox myself, won't I? I don't know. However you want to do it. $10 is yours, my friend. Solana, $90.01. Let's see if we can hold above 90. That would be a big deal. But again, keep an eye on this RSI. Total 3 also pumping. Why is the market pumping today? It's very strange. We're so not used to this. The second the market turns green, we're like, something's up. This is weird. What are we going to do here? Because this doesn't normally happen. I'm not a big fan of this green thing. What are these profits you say? I don't really like it when my portfolio changes in value to the upside. Do the animal one, please. You want me to donate it? All right. We're gonna be huge donators to the animal shelter. So far, we got $20 from the channel. All right, 725.08 for this year at least. I guess I'm pretty sure I've done other ones last year. Best Friends Animal Shelter. 725.1. We are kind of at the top of our range right here. Definitely like ascending. I would count that actually. Let's get to 7. I'm gonna get to 740, 750, and then We'll see where we go. Waterfly said, I've donated. I remember, actually. I remember, Waterfly, I think you and I kind of went back and forth on bets from way back in like Jordan's channel or something. I won one and then you won one and we both donated separate times. Might have happened more than once. I don't remember. I do remember, I think you were the one that kind of inspired that whole thing, though. Tom Salt Scout said stocks up a bit overnight also. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. There's got to be something that we don't know. Let's go check Polymarket really quick. Maybe there's something in Polymarket. The Oscars? There's no way the Oscars are pumped the market. That'd be kind of funny. Bitcoin, 5 minutes up or down. Crude oil. It might literally be the Australia crude oil or the Australia petroleum leaders that they've released. Let me go back to Financial Juice and see what we got. Bam. Yield 20. Yeah, no, there's nothing, man. Taiwan overnight interbank rate opens compared to 805. Previous sessions open. Attack against our forces is unacceptable. Did they get attacked? Several of our soldiers have been wounded. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Is France going to not surrender? What if France finally fights and they just kick ass? Wouldn't that be crazy? Because every time anything happens, France is like, no. And then this one time where they're actually going to get involved, what if they're just like, perfect? That'd be so sick. Like the French version of James Bond, he just throws baguettes at people. He gets everybody. See, the French military seems inactive. That's exactly what they want you to think. The French military actually operates every single cigarette company in the world. And they have been winning the war by getting people addicted to nicotine. And everyone's smoking cigarettes, getting cancer and dying. And France is like, and they're just winning the war this whole time. Crazy. Nobody knew that. Don't tell anybody that I told you that either. If I disappear, this is why. Waterfly said we did. Tom Stalk Scout said, I think you did one for me last year for the animal shelter too. When I won the $20 for the daily clothes contest, Waterfly said France could stand in the Foreign Legion. They, though. They tough. They tough. JJ, no, read good. All right. Chief Warrant Officer. Oh my gosh, somebody died? Whoa! They did not plan for the chance of Iran closing the strait in response. That's actually really funny. That's really funny. I'm sorry, this cracks me up. Top Trump officials recognize they did not plan for the chance of Iran closing the strait in response to strikes. They're just like, they blew up Iran. And then Iran is like, this is not cool. Well, you can't go through our water. And America's like, wait, can you do that? Oh shit, that's theirs? You for real about planes, JJ? I refuse. I refuse to get on a plane. It's a control thing. Because I'm not flying, I would not be able to get on a plane and fly to another country. 88 Metals Mania said 7 to 8 total passed, eh? Total passed. What are you talking about? Let's see. What did they say? Several of our soldiers have been wounded. Yeah, that's crazy. France is entering the war. South Korea. Yep, we read that. Okay. There's really nothing, man. This is weird. It's a weird little pump in the market. I like it, though. ADA is up 2.69. Nice. 27.06 on the price. Let's get some upside on ADA, man. ADA's been getting shafted. Yeah, died in the war so far. That's crazy. Snack is up 2.35. This also needs a little baby recovery. Midnight is up 5.35%. Slowly but surely recovering from the Binance sell-off, which, I'm not going to lie, this, I don't know if I've laughed so hard at a crypto thing since this. Like, before this or after this. This was the funniest thing to me. Because Charles was like, hello, Binance. Like, he made a live stream. He's like, well, warm and sunny Colorado. We got listed on Binance. Midnight's on Binance. And I looked at the chart, and the chart was just like, I was like, oh shit. It was pretty funny. Because the Binance joke plus like midnight, I don't know, dude, that was really funny. I got a good laugh out of it for sure. But it's recovering. It's at 0.05 170.51. Very cool. Bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI was incredibly oversold. Got a nice bounce off of 46.94. Another arbitrary line that we had on the chart from previous price action. Not a lot of price action either. Just from previous price action. This is like the median. I was like, okay, we went really low here. We went high here. Went way low there. I'm not even going to count that. So I just kind of went in between the two. And it just happened to be the exact point where our candle bodies close on the 4-hour time frame. Guys, I hate to say it. I'm good at putting arbitrary lines on the chart. It feels funny because it's kind of stupid, but I'm kind of a fan. XRP's up 2.16% on the day, currently trading at 141.45. Are we going to get back above 150 anytime soon? That is the current level of resistance on our chart since February. Even that, though, we're kind of, what is this? There's like a descending, yeah, there's definitely a descending resistance line as well. So let's get above that first. I want to get above 145. Then we can start talking about 150. So far, we're doing it very slowly. Everything else, pretty quiet. I want to look at Polkadot because Polkadot's been surprising people. 153. Still up from that 120 level. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin. 1.52 in the green. $71,601. 88 Metals Mania said also playing safe compared to your car. It's not your driving, it's everyone around you driving. What if I said Ada died in war too? Damn. That's pretty good. That's a good one. 88 Metals said usually new folks to the country, just saying JJ is good at connecting the dots. Yeah, you got. I'm aware of the statistics and flying and stuff like that, but I'm also aware of my brain and the fact that I can't go anywhere unless I'm driving. So if I get on a plane, the feeling of flying for the first time mixed with the knowledge that I'm not the one flying the plane, it's just some random pilot, and all the stories that I hear, like pilots to me, they strike me as very like professional, very cordial people who love substances. That might not be true at all. That's just how I perceive them. The pilot in my brain, the modern pilot, is definitely from like the 1950s, where they're like, we're getting ready to fly to Peru. Did you bring those Quaaludes? Yes, I did. Oh, sweet. That's pretty cool that we can smoke in here too. I don't know, man. I have a very skewed relationship with airplanes. 88 Metals Mania said, well, some people can't get over the mind over matter. Everyone's built different. See, I'm already struggling with my my investments. Why would I struggle with an airplane as well? And I forced myself into that situation. Everything that I can get from an airplane, I can get at home. I have airplane at home. What am I going to go fly to some tropical country? I can go to Florida. Am I going to go to fly to some rainy England place? I can go to Washington. What am I going to fly to some Chinese place? I can go to Chinatown in New York. I don't know, man. I feel like I can just get the experience at home for way cheaper and less stress. Maybe that's incredibly racist of me, but it's not meant to be. I'm not racist, I'm just retarded. Different R word. Same guy, different R. What if I said, was JJ violated on an airplane when he was young? No, I did not. I was not a participant in the island directory, thankfully. Oh, that's so good. That's like the perfect temperature. Oh, that's delicious. Okay, let's get to the news segment. Bitcoin's still surprising, 71,641. 88 Metals Mania said, sure, JJ, justify the fear how you want. You have a fear of flying. I have a fear of airplanes. I have no problem with heights. I can do artificial heights. Or, no, I'm sorry. I can do natural heights, no problem. I cannot do artificial heights. I've been to the top of the Sears Tower. That was really cool. I don't think I could do that basket thing where they, like, tip you over the edge. I could not do that. That man-made shit is no good to me. Skyscrapers are always sinking in the ground. That, and then I start thinking of sinkholes. I don't know. I could probably do a skyscraper, but I don't think I could, like, look over a balcony on a skyscraper. I think I would just fall and die. I can stand on the edge of a cliff and look thousands of feet to the ground. That doesn't bother me at all. I can cross bridges, no problem. I cannot do airplanes. I just can't. The cruise said, hey JJ, what's going on the cruise? What if I said is fear of flying or you just control freak? I think it's a control thing with the airplane specifically. I do, because I don't feel like it's unsafe. I just feel like I don't want to be in a tin can that I'm not controlling. It's just kind of being thrown in the air, and I don't know who's throwing it. Not a fan of heights, but flying logical on the risk-reward scale for me. The reward, there's no reward for me, though. What's the reward? What the hell? That's kind of a really weird message on Telegram. All right, $71,634 on Bitcoin. Let's get to the news segment. Earlier, we had 19 hours ago, Bricks News, which is a Watcher Guru affiliate, posted China condemns Iran's attacks on Gulf states, calls for immediate cease of military operations and return to negotiations. Then there was a community note. And now, JJ, you going to Floria? What? The community note. For additional context, China's full... I like that they said that, for additional context, because sometimes the community notes are just unnecessary. Like, they just outline what was said in the post. For additional context, China's full statement condemns the U.S. and Israel's attacks on Iran as violating international law, while also opposing attacks on Gulf states and calling for a ceasefire. Full transcript, blah, blah, blah. I like that. I like that. Next, we got... Oh, this was just cool. These developers are building a survival game where you and I'm assuming up to 7 friends have to escape a massive tornado. This looks insane. This does look really cool. We talk about pop culture a lot on the channel, and I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen a exciting AAA game. So I don't know. I feel like bringing attention to indie games is the next best thing, and this looks sick. This looks really cool. I might play this on the channel. Waterfly said, China very two-faced, too busy selling Iran weapons. 88 Metals Mania said, you're not flying to tropics, you are driving to Florida. I understand. China being sneaky. Oh, 100%. And yes, I'm 100% a driving guy. I will drive as long as it takes. Watcher Guru posted, Brent crude oil rises above $100 again. Average U.S. gas price rises to $3.60 for the first time since May 2024. President Trump says the U.S. Are you ready? Are you ready for the switcheroo? Trump's playing 4D chess. The U.S. makes a lot of money when oil prices rise because it is the largest oil producer. What? What the hell did you just say to me? That's the most asinine thing I think I've seen him say so far. That's the craziest take. This whole time he's like, we want gas cheap. He's like criticized. My favorite thing is when people repost like old Trump tweets where he's like, gas prices are really bad because Joe Biden is an idiot or whatever. And then is it not the same situation now? Why are gas prices bad, Trump? Are you an idiot? He probably doesn't think so. All right. We got 11 votes. I'm going to end the poll. Let's go look at Bitcoin, 71,636. It's just weird to see it pump out of nowhere. I asked you guys, with the strategic reserve oil release, will gas at the pump actually decrease? 46% of you guys said no, they already know will pay. 27% said no, it's not enough. 18% said yes, why wouldn't it? 9% said yes, supply and demand. 88 Metals Mania said, so no autonomous transport for you, eh? That I don't know. I have not driven a Tesla. The idea of the car, like, kind of, like, if I'm trying to drive and it's like, oops, and if I don't know, that might be cool. I haven't experienced it yet. I think I would get in a Waymo, but if I die or somebody crashes into it or it puts me in any, I'm suing the shit out of them and retiring early. That's probably the biggest reason. That risk reward is worth it because I can sue them. All right. With Bitcoin holding 70K and pumping while everything dumps. No, I'm just going to say and pumping. Is the digital gold narrative back? Yes. Digital gold for the win. No. This is just a bull trap. Yes, Satoshi was right. Or no, propped up by Sailor. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. With Bitcoin holding 70K and pumping, is the digital gold narrative back? Yes, digital gold for the win. No, this is just a bull trap. Yes, Satoshi was right. No, propped up by Sailor. Now, with the pump, the beautiful pump that it is, 71,693, I want to point out there are troubles emerging in the private credit sector, which, if you look back, can't sue, I think. That's stupid. Then I would never get into Waymo. If you look back and look into the 2008 financial crisis, it started with private credit. And that event that occurred following the great financial crisis is what actually inspired Satoshi Nakamoto to write the Bitcoin white paper. So, with that being said, all of that in our brain, if Bitcoin does what it was meant to do, with inflation getting out of control, with oil prices rising, with private credit cracks emerging, and with the money printer on, let's be honest, if Bitcoin pumps, then Satoshi's vision will become true. Even if it doesn't, honestly, if it just kind of maintains its level or goes down another 20, 30%, I think Satoshi won. Because Bitcoin is a hedge, or at least so far, against inflation. Since inception, it has gone up tremendously. Gourmet said he's trying to damage control on the oil markets. That Pulse Play said, yeah, self-driving cars freak me out. 88 Metal said, I think the waiver fine print's real small on terms. Yeah, that's one thing that I have to look into. What if I said I couldn't handle self-driving car? The only thing that I have with self-driving car is how much does it cost? And how often is it going to break? I'm not a rough driver. I'm actually been called a grandma driver from time to time. But even modern cars fall apart. I like my older shit boxes because I can beat the crap out of them and fix them really, really cheap, and they keep running. 20% down would be good, Waterfly said. 88 said, my wife's Tesla rips like that. It's creepy to me. Even after 3 years, it makes me grab for the wheel. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think I could do that. If I'm driving and the car's just like, ugh, I'd be like, don't fucking do that. How dare you? Whose car do you think this is? You know? They'd call Elon Musk for, like, negotiations because I'd be so mad at the car. All right. 88 said, when Trump says USA makes a lot of money with high oil, so does every other country know? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just confusing. Just as confusing as the opposite point of view that he had. We export a lot of our crude, so we make a lot on that. I never understood the export thing. If gas is expensive and we're exporting it, why don't we just keep it here? Can't you just make just as much money here? Am I crazy? Just send it all to California. If I was like a gas company that made gasoline, I would just send I would only sell to California. And I just charge twice as what everybody else is paying, and they would pay for it too. Maybe New York as well. New York doesn't have as many. I don't know, does New York have more or less cars? It's smaller, so I imagine, yeah, there's not enough places to drive. A lot of idling. Okay, continuing news segment. JP Morgan says long energy stocks and short the rest of the market until the Strait of Hormuz reopens. $820 billion wiped out from the U.S. stock market in the first 2 hours of trading today. That's crazy. Jim Cramer says Iran is taunting us with $200 oil and calls for President Trump to unleash the military on them. Dang, that means that Iran's going to surrender and Trump isn't going to unleash the military. 88 Mel said Canada sure is. Russia's black market prices are up, I'm sure. We should just use this opportunity to fix the Russia thing. I think Trump tried to do that. I don't know how that's going. 88 Metals Mania said, as of March 12, 2026, Tesla Energy Ventures has officially been granted to license by Ofgem to supply electricity to households and businesses across England, Scotland, and Wales. Very cool. Imagine this. I'm thinking I'm going tinfoil for this, okay? What if Elon knows what's gonna happen? Because he's like joked about being an alien. We're going full story mode. What if Elon knows what's gonna happen? And all of this stuff goes down, and like the world comes to an end, like energy crisis and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Teslas start pulling up at people's houses, and they like plug the house into the car, and then they power your car with the house. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Elon Musk saved the day!" And he's like, "You're welcome. I'm an alien." And then he just beams up and disappears. Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know what the point of that would be at all. But it'd be sick. It would be really cool. Everyone would be like, "Wow, remember that alien guy, Elon?" And then everyone would be like, "Elon, alien. Oh my gosh, they kind of saw us." There'd be all these stupid things where people are like, "Hindsight is 2020. It's so obvious now." And they'd show all the clips of him being like, "I am an alien." Optimus robots. Oh, power your house with the car. That's what I mean, man. That's what I'm talking about. The car just pulls up, man, and then they swap out. When the battery's almost dead, the new car shows up and plugs right in. And you pay $100 a month for electricity. That's actually kind of cheap. All right, let's continue. Jim Cramer wants to go fight Iran. We should send him there. That'd be great. U.S. Senate votes to include banning Fed central bank digital currency in bipartisan housing bill. That only applies until 2030, by the way, so if you're excited, don't be. Because the next administration is going to be able to do whatever the hell they want. What if I said you have shiny Yamaha on your head? Do I? Shiny Yamaha? What the hell does that mean? All right. President Trump says Fed Chair Jerome Powell should lower interest rates immediately without waiting for the next FOMC meeting. I can't read. President Trump says Fed Chair Jerome Powell should lower interest rates immediately without waiting for the next FOMC meeting. I agree. What if I said made you look? Well, joke's on you, Waterfly. I actually used to have a Yamaha tattoo on my forehead. President Trump says, "Oh, I read that already." Okay, here's the trader accidentally swaps 50 million USDC for $36,000 worth of Aave on Ethereum. See, there's that word accidentally. So it was their fault. 100% their fault. They set their slippage to like 80%, 90%. One day Grok will read the news to us. I think it can right now. I talked to mine earlier, and it was I'd never done that. I was like making my coffee, and I was like, "Can I talk to Grok?" And it like responded in some sexy voice. Well, I'm gonna do it right now. What do we want to ask? What if I said, "Why am I not surprised?" Gourmet said, "We have a lot of sweet, crude, and easy to refine. Sour is used for a lot of other refined products and more steps to break it down into other products. So we export the sludge and keep the good stuff." Oh, that makes sense. Crypto Spaces said he's not going to listen. No cuts until new Fed chair, unfortunately. What if I said, "Why am I not surprised?" We're going to ask Grok something. I forgot. Earlier, somebody was like, "Ask Grok this." What are we asking Grok? Does anybody remember? That's what I was gonna ask. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Why is the price of Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market increasing right now while everything else is dumping?
Checking crypto right now? Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, spot on. Crypto's actually holding up pretty well today, while stocks are mixed or slipping. Bitcoin's sitting around 71.5, up almost 2% in the last day. Ethereum's jumping over 3.5. Solana's close behind at nearly 4. Total market cap's at 2.43 trillion, with altcoins showing some life. Index at 38 out of 100. Not full-blown season yet, but heating. Stocks? S&P's been choppy this week, down a bit overall. Dow's had rough days like that 800-point drop earlier. Feels like risk-off vibes from oil swings and macro noise. but crypto's decoupling a little. Maybe folks rotating in as a hedge. Wild, right?
So yeah, that's my grok friend. This is great. Gonna put JJ on a gig. I mean, she didn't read anything. Can I have her take a picture and just read stuff? Is that a thing? I can attach a picture. That'd be kind of funny. All right, let's continue. That was like I said, that was my grok friend. Sailor buying 88. Only reason why, I don't know though. He does buy over the counter. He mentioned that the price could pump from it though. That's just a lot, man. And the sailor buying, he's not buying altcoins. Why are altcoins up too? You know, look at Solana's up freaking 4%. Whew, that's no joke. That's a lot of pumpage. I don't understand altcoin season index. That's confusing. What if we have an altcoin season? Like, what if everything just keeps doing this, and like the altcoins just go a little bit higher, so we just keep having little altcoin seasons, while everything just actually just continuing down because altcoins outperform just a little bit. It's like altcoin season, and we're like, oh my gosh, alt season, and just little pumps for ants in between the macro dumps. 88 Metal said, can't the computer grok friend read that article? I think he changed it. Explain this post. Or I haven't seen the thing because he mentioned recently that you were going to be able to click to have grok read something. But I haven't seen it yet. I think it's in beta or something. Because I can have grok explain it, and then it'll pop up right here, a little window. This guy. What's Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is flat. It was pumping. That's why I'm confused. The alt season index doesn't make sense. Bitcoin dominance is not moving. Alt season index is kind of a joke. Anyways, Fractal still kind of intact, dude. I swear, if this plays out, that's gonna be so cool. Marty Party posted stablecoin mint 5 minutes ago. This was 3 hours ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana, rolling week 8.82 billion. Very cool. Kobayashi later posted, our most frequent question right now. President Trump said the war is ending very soon, and the IEA and US are releasing 572 million barrels of reserves. So why are oil prices nearing $100 a barrel again? In the lead up on Sunday, historic $30 rally in oil, uncertainty was at record highs. The reason behind this rally is largely that President Trump was not signaling how long the Iran war would last. Since then, the only factor that has changed is that he has said it'll be over pretty quickly. That's pretty much the gist of this. I think we read it yesterday as well. We expect more comments like this from the Trump administration. As oil prices near $100 a barrel, this would mirror the strategy used during the trade war, when hints of a trade deal often emerged as market volatility reached unsustainable levels. Markets are a product of sentiment and expectation. All right. Breaking U.S. officials say Iran laid mines in the Strait of Hormuz. I think we read this yesterday too. I think something's going on with my bookmarks. Iraq has halted operations. Yep, we read that as well. Okay, here we go. New U.S. intelligence says Iran's leadership is still largely intact and not at risk of collapse anytime soon. Details include a multitude of intelligence reports provide consistent analysis that the regime is not in danger of collapse. Intelligence also suggests that the Iranian government retains control of the Iranian public. Israeli officials in closed discussions also have acknowledged there is no certainty the war will lead to the Iranian government's collapse. The situation on the ground is being described as fluid. Oil prices are at a new high of a day. Very cool. U.S. crude oil prices surge above $95 a barrel. Iran's supreme leader, whatever Khamenei, says Strait of Hormuz will remain closed. U.S. oil prices back above $95 a barrel. President Trump is enthusiastic about continuing the war in Iran for at least another 3 to 4 weeks, even as oil prices rebound. Details include, following a G7 call, France's President Macron said no one can tell what Donald Trump wants from this war. U.S. and Israel have not secured the 450 kilograms of highly enriched uranium that Iran holds. Mind you, this is the first we've heard of this. Like, they mentioned this like 2-3 days ago. There was no mention of this a week or two ago when they started this whole conflict. They didn't say there's enriched uranium. They were like, we blew off everything up. They don't have any nuclear capabilities now. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we blew them up this weekend because we had to. And like a couple days go by, they're like, it's not going to be long though. We're just going to blow them up a little more. And now suddenly they're like, oh, there's 450 kilograms of highly enriched uranium that we just found. But we don't have it yet. It's, I don't know, it's just all political jargon that they're pulling out of their ass. U.S. and Israel reportedly do not entirely agree on what winning looks like. We do not want to leave early, do we? We got to finish the job, right? Trump said. U.S. stocks are now down over 1% on the day. 88 Metals Mania said, someone in here said they had decades to prepare. I think they have more than initially thought. No? Who? The oil? Us for the oil? Or they as in Iran with the quantity of supreme leaders? China and Cuba have agreed to boost bilateral ties just 6 days after President Trump says Cuba will fall pretty soon. Cuba will soon become a top priority for President Trump. That's pretty cringe, I'm not gonna lie. Everyone's making Trump look like an idiot. He's probably gonna get pretty mad soon. And he probably should, because he looks like an idiot. As U.S. oil prices rise above 95 a barrel, our models indicate that if current levels are sustained for 3 months, U.S. CPI inflation would rise to 3.2%. That seems awfully low, considering how much gas would go up if stuff kept, like, getting worse. This would put U.S. inflation at its highest level since May 2024. That's not that long ago. U.S. oil prices extend gains to plus 10% on the day, rising above $96.50 a barrel. Once again, it appears shorts are being squeezed as markets reassess the Iran war. Iran's a big spot. Surprised me? Yeah, I guess so. The oil reserves release barely offset the disruption. The U.S. and its allies announced that 572 million barrels of crude oil reserve will be released. This is 30% of total reserves held by the U.S. and IEA countries. Currently, 20 million barrels of daily crude oil supply have come to a halt in the Strait of Hormuz. This means that the 572 million barrels release will only cover 29 days worth of supply from the Strait. Meanwhile, today marks the 13th day of the Iran war, meaning the equivalent of 260 million barrels of Strait of Hormuz supply has already been halted. In other words, the recent release only covers an additional 16 days worth of supply. While the Wall Street Journal reports that President Trump may extend this war another month, this is why oil prices are ignoring the reserve news. Mr. Roberts said, hey JJ, hello good people, what's going on Mr. Roberts? Cheers my friend, happy Thursday. I don't know what day it is. Let us know what your opinion is on the poll in the chat. Breaking. The odds of Democrats sweeping the 2026 midterm election have surged to a new high of 45%. Odds of a Democrat sweep are now up 5 percentage points since the Iran war began. You know what Trump's got to do? He's going to have to increase the size of the stimmy now. Like before, I thought that like with tariffs and the trade war and stuff and the stock market and the crypto market that he would just have to release a stimmy in the amount of $2,000. Now I think it's going to have to be more money if he wants to win. Okay, the Iran war is now officially causing the largest disruption of oil supply in history, per Financial Times. Current oil market situation, Gulf producers have cut oil production by at least 10 million barrels per day. The Iran war has driven production to its lowest level in 4 years, per the IEA. The IEA expects world output to fall by 8 million barrels per day in March as a result. This represents a decline of over 7% from the 107 million barrels per day produced in February. Iran is now requiring reparations for a ceasefire deal. I just want to point out really quick, the reparations argument for Iran is the most woke shit I've ever seen from a country responding to aggression. I'm sorry. Like, at that point, that's the most subjective thing, because then why don't we demand reparations for whatever else? You know, are you going to pay reparations to the random uninvolved countries that you struck? What is the logic there? Doesn't make any sense, bro. I'm not gonna harp on it for too long. I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay. Russia is now making an extra $150 million per day from its oil sales amid rising prices due to the Iran war. The Russian government is set to receive up to $5 billion in extra revenue by the end of this month. Awfully convenient. I'm going to get into another rant. I apologize. It's going to be a rant-heavy day. I've seen arguments that war is good for business. And by that, I mean it's like it's bullish for the country in the long term. Creates jobs. So maybe that's why Russia did the Ukraine thing, because that out of nowhere aggression, it seems awfully similar to what we just did with Iran. Like, we went after them, I think, a month ago, and we were like, all we did was we blew up their nuclear facilities, and everybody's happy now, yay! And then out of nowhere, we're like, we just attacked the shit out of Iran, and everyone was like, what? And Trump's like, I just blew the shit out of them. Every single one of them. And everyone's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, we had to be done. There's no answer for anything. They just kind of did it. So I'm wondering if it's a job creation ploy. And they're like, oh, they have enriched uranium. Or whatever the hell. I don't know. It seems silly to me. 88 said, I brought that up. All countries make money with the black gold. Yeah, dude, oil is profitable. Here's the play. Closer to midterms, he will start pulling out of Iran. Gas will go down slightly, and he will cut, a $3K check. That's what I mean. So if that actually happens, I've said this before, and if that's just for midterms, I don't know. I'm at a point now where the government does nothing for me. Zero. They never have. I've benefited tremendously from Trump's first term. I got whatever the stimmy checks were. I benefited tremendously from Biden's first term. I got stimmies from him, and he forgave $14,000 of student loans that I had because my school disappeared and my credits were non-transferable, and I filed for forgiveness in 2012. So it took like 10 years, but they finally looked into it, and they figured out that they blanket declined all of these applications from back then. I don't know if they just blanket approved them or if they actually looked at them. I got $14,000 in debt disappeared. So far, Biden is a net positive. Compared to Trump, Biden gave me a lot more money. I need a little more money from Trump. They gotta kind of even out. If he wants it to be a fair, level playing field, he's gonna have to send a $3,000 check. Like I said, no president really affects my day-to-day unless they send me a big fat check in the mail. HQZ said, did we ever find out where you were yesterday? Yes, we did. What was it called? Bear Stearns. Yesterday I was Bear Stearns. Today, I'm in the Hormuz Hotel. There's literally a little island in the Strait of Hormuz with a city on it. And that city has a little hotel. And I was like, what? So that's where I am. There's war going on outside the window right now. Crazy stuff. All right. Russia making a bunch of money. President Trump calls on Fed Chair Powell to cut interest rates today before the next Fed meeting. That'd be sick. Right now, it looks like you were in Oprah's hotel room. U.S. oil reserves are set to decline by 41% to their lowest level since the 1980s after the U.S. announced a 172 million barrel release. This will drop U.S. oil reserves to 243.4 million barrels, or just 34% of total capacity. On top of this, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve must keep about 150 million barrels in place to maintain operational flexibility. This leaves just 93 million barrels available to draw, or less than 5 days' worth of the oil supply that normally passes through the Strait of Hormuz. After the upcoming release, U.S. oil reserves will be down over 400 million barrels since the Russia-Ukraine war. The U.S. strategic oil buffer is rapidly disappearing. Yeah, we should probably refill this, should we not? Okay. Gourmet said the Biden stimulus check was just a credit. We had to give it back when we filed taxes. I don't know if that's entirely true, because my tax, the taxes that I did during the Biden era were crazy. The last one that I got before this most recent one was the biggest one I ever received. Mr. Brower said, I think the narrative for negotiation between U.S. and Iran because the possibility of remaining enriched uranium still exists. Yeah. 88 Metals Mania said, JJ, even if he gave you the 3K, you wouldn't vote, huh? I think there has to be some, Mr. Roberts. I don't know, because what am I going to vote for? I'll take the 3K. I don't like to vote on a by-party basis. I like to itemize. And that seems silly, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just bored and I take it too serious. All right, let's continue. Russian crude oil output is falling. Russian crude oil production dropped 56,000 barrels in February to 9.18 million barrels per day in February, the lowest since August. This marks the third consecutive monthly decline, with a total drop of 200,000 barrels per day. Production is now running minus 390,000 barrels per day, below what Russia is allowed to produce under its OPEC Plus agreement. Meanwhile, India has already resumed buying Russian oil after the White House issued a temporary 30-day sanctions waiver following weeks of reduced purchases under U.S. pressure, braced for more volatility in the oil market. 88 Metal said, can't buy JJ's vote, but please send the check, thank you. He can buy my shit talking. And I have a huge platform of 12 concurrent viewers. So, does he really want 13 people to be openly discussing negative things about him? I don't know. Because so far Biden's better at sending money. All right. The U.S. oil market has undergone a historic transformation. Also, it's not a vote for Trump, and I can't vote for him again anyway, so that argument's kind of void. The U.S. has been a net exporter of oil every quarter since 2020, with exports up to 360 million barrels per quarter, the second highest on record. Since 2008, U.S. oil exports have surged 800%, driven by the shale revolution. What the hell is that? Over the same period, imports have fallen by roughly 38% to 260 million, near the lowest since 1990s. The U.S. has gone from net importing 400 million barrels of oil per quarter in 2006 to net exporting 100 million barrels per quarter in 2025. Wow. This marks one of the biggest energy shifts by a major economy in modern history. U.S. oil dominance is reshaping global energy dynamics. You know what would be crazy? If we're exporting that much, what if we just went, we're not going to export it anymore. We're just going to keep it. And then we're not struggling at all. Everyone's pissed because Iran isn't exporting oil because they need Iran oil since the U.S. isn't doing it anymore. That would be kind of funny. Maybe we should do that. That's kind of, that may be the next wild card, like art of the deal, Trump card, if you will. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys want to be degenerate gamblers, sign up for Kalshi with my link, my referral link in the description. Deposit and trade $25 or more, and we'll both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It is gambling, though, so treat it as such. Don't play with more than you can afford to lose. I'm not a financial advisor. CoinMarketCap Fear and Greed is at 31. Yesterday was at 28. Today we are less afraid than we were yesterday. CoinGlass is at 14. Yesterday, I think it was at like 12 maybe. And then stock market Fear and Greed is at 21, officially entering extreme fear. Top 10. Oh, Cardano got bumped out of the top 10. Hyperliquid has officially entered the top 10. That's actually huge. Let's go take a look at that. Hyperliquid officially entered the top 10. Up. Whoa. Let me go. 25% in the past week. 31% in the past month. 5% in the past day. That's pretty epic. Congratulations, Hyperliquid. Very cool. Yeah, that's beautiful performance. Wow. What a great chart. I mean, the year it's still up, but what was it? Been up to $60, so you still got tons of potential. What do we think Hyperliquid is going to get to? Let's actually go see market cap of... I feel like Hyperliquid could at least reach... I feel like it's worth more than... I'll just say XRP. Let's do Hyperliquid XRP. Bam. 9.5x, almost a 10x. This thing's going up to $361 maybe. I feel like it could totally do that. Easy. Very cool. Yeah, I feel like hype is a for sure necessity in a modern portfolio. Waterfly said I could buy JJ's vote. Do it. Flight fan said, hello, JJ. Have you guys looked at silver? Yes, we have. Silver's up 0.5% on the day, actually losing some of its pump. It was doing better earlier. Gold is doing better. Silver's selling off a little bit. Interesting. My question is, why isn't silver and gold pumping with all of the uncertainty? Like, there's no way that we've hedged against this that far ahead. There's no way. Mr. Roberts said, what I don't understand is so many U.S. representatives saying they don't know where the enriched uranium is now. We literally have satellite pics of trucks lining up at the facility. Are we to believe we didn't track those trucks? Like we took a commercial break for a few days? Oh, they did. The government did shut down. Maybe that's their argument. They're like, well, the government shut down. No way U.S. knows where it went. Oh, for sure. I agree. They just don't want the current regime. They want the regime to change. That's all it is. They're like, oh, the uranium. They still have enriched uranium. That's what it is. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the guy, though. The guy might die. The enriched uranium is actually right beneath his body. Wherever he is, it is beneath him at all times. It actually follows him around the underground tunnels. They like to tunnel over there. Did you know that? They're just making shit up. 88 Metals said, well, the markets aren't open, right, for gold and silver. I don't know. I think they're open. The chart seems to update globally during the week, and then on the weekend it doesn't update at all. So I'm not sure if this is just global or if it's futures. I don't know. There's definitely 24-hour tracking on gold and silver on these two charts. 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, maybe? That's my guess. Bitcoin looks really good. I'm excited about it. Alts look really good, too. Alts look freakishly good. I'm not sure how to feel about it. Let's continue the news segment, though. U.S. CENTCOM says a U.S. Air Force KC-135 Stratotanker carrying 6 crew members has crashed in Iraq. What? That's awful. What the hell is going on? Today, U.S. CPI increased from 1.08% to 1.21% year over year. This jump was driven solely by the recent spikes in gasoline prices, with even more upward trend on the horizon, at least in the short term. Average national gasoline prices at the pump rose 5.7% year over year, from 6.64% to approximately 12.34%, which at a weight of about 3% in our headline CPI produced a shift of 0.13%. We collect large gasoline price data from multiple providers, one of which, the EIA, registered an even larger spike of 15% over the course of this week alone. We also see increased volatility in our daily data, signaling unprecedented shifts in underlying prices across multiple categories, driven by rapidly changing geopolitical conditions and policy uncertainties. But Van said, don't feel, just trade. Okay, hang on. 88 said paper, silver, and USA global. Yeah, but big boys, not till pre-market on paper metal. This one's interesting. Cointelegraph posted Square Enix, the gaming giant behind Final Fantasy and Tomb Raider, is now running a validator node on the Tezos blockchain. Let's go check Tezos. It's been a long time since I've heard that name. I do like me some Tezos, though. Little baby pump off that news. That's pretty exciting news for 2%. The market just does not care about crypto news, man. It's all geopolitics now. Research, not your keys, not your coins, is back in force as trust in centralized exchanges continues to erode. A survey by Cointelegraph Research shows that most investors trust exchanges less after major failures. No shit. Is that a surprise? Did they really survey for that? Some of crypto's biggest custodial failures, including Mt. Gox losing 850,000 Bitcoin. Quadriga CX. Watched a whole documentary about that on Netflix. Highly recommend you check it out. I don't remember what it's called, though. leaving a $169 million shortfall, and FTX is posing an $8 billion deficit in customer funds. Survey data shows 65% of users trust exchanges less than 4 years ago, while 57% cite direct ownership of private keys as the main reason for self-custody. As more investors move assets off exchanges, does the crypto industry fully understand the responsibilities that come with self-custody? Yeah. What is Cointelegraph being bought out by the big banks? What kind of a stupid question is that? Vitalik, Ethereum's most fundamental use case is a public bulletin board. Wow, that's actually really messed up thing to say, bro. A publicly writable and readable place where people can post data for secure online voting, certificate revocation, and coordination. Okay. Cool. Sure. This chain, this Canton network or whatever it's called, came out of nowhere. Never heard of it. All of a sudden it's top 10. Or maybe not top 10. It's like in top 50 or something. Institutional settlement rails are going live as Clear Token launches a live FX settlement stack on Canton, and QCP Group joins as a super validator. I don't know what any of those words mean, but they sound good from an investment point of view. The Trump administration plans to suspend the Jones Act to help ease oil price pressures. Saylor said, there's a delay between the time we buy and the time Bitcoin goes to the moon. I don't know if he said that unironically or as a joke or if he was being serious. This is the most confusing out of context sentence I've ever read in my entire life. But it's Saylor, so you gotta appreciate it. Wyoming's Frontier stablecoin, or stable token, FRNT, the first U.S. state-issued stable token, is now live on Hedera. That's very cool. H-bars up 2.11%, looking good. Very exciting. Just in, CFTC issued long-awaited guidance on prediction markets. TLDR, exchanges can self-certify prediction market contracts under existing derivatives rules. Platforms must ensure markets are not easily manipulated and maintain surveillance. Insider trading rules apply to prediction market participants. Contracts tied to assassination, war, or terrorism can be banned as against the public interest. The CFTC is seeking public comment as it prepares formal rulemaking for the sector. Yeah, I was going to say, the assassination, war, or terrorism, those kind of should be banned anyways. I understand, I guess, from a decentralized standpoint, if you want to try to push it like Polymarket is. But the fact that you could have that market and then, like, some crazy kid could put a dumbass bet out there and then go blow up some building and be like, haha, terrorism in this state, I placed that bet and I won millions of dollars. That incentivizes terrorism. So I could see where that could be a huge problem. Huge Senate passed a bill that includes CBDC issuance, ban on the Federal Reserve until 2030. That's exciting, but I'm sad that it stops at 2030. Why don't you just do it for forever? SEC to consider innovation exemption to support limited trading of tokenized equity securities, says Paul Atkins. NVIDIA teams up with Palantir Technologies to build a new AI operating system. This spooked me a little bit. They should stay far away from each other, or at least NVIDIA should stay away from Palantir. Palantir scares me. Bitcoin now has 571 million on-chain users, while USDT has 550 million and growing faster, says Paolo Arduino. This is what I've been talking about. If Tether user base is growing faster than Bitcoin's, now this is the first time we've actually seen the price of Bitcoin like sustainably increase. Like, this is a relatively decent increase over time since February 24th. We're getting close to a month of steady increase. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. So with that being said, if Tether laps Bitcoin and crypto does not recover, I will not be surprised. I do genuinely believe that stablecoins are going to spearhead adoption, and we're not going to be able to use them as a fair means to measure crypto adoption because people are just going to use them as cash. It's going to be the M2 money supply all over again. Trump calls on Jerome Too Late Powell to cut rates immediately ahead of the next FOMC meeting. The Federal Reserve will ease capital requirements for major banks, says Vice Chair Michelle Bowman. A 50 million USDT trade through COW swap, cow swap, resulted in severe slippage as the user received just 324 Aave, $600,000 in fees to be refunded, says Aave founder Stani Kulichov. That's still so much money they made. That's pretty crazy. I can't believe they set their slippage that high. Sundar Pichai says Google is rolling out AI flood forecast model and open sourcing 2.6 million plus historical events for research. That's really cool. I'm telling you, I think that there's gonna be like these little niches where people are gonna take all of their like online data and they're gonna put it behind a paywall. And if you want to train, they probably already have this. If you want to train your AI on flood data from Google, you can pay for it. If you want to train your AI on tornado data from Google, you can pay for it. If you want to train your AI on stock data from Google, you can train your AI, like you can pay for it and train your AI. I think that that's what's going to happen. There's going to be like a information, I don't know, not Holocaust. That seems overdramatic. An information, what was it called? Prohibition. Information prohibition. And I think Palantir actually talked about this recently. Was it Peter Thiel specifically? Somebody from Palantir, I think, specifically said, we want to own the information and we want you to pay for it every time you use it. And I was like, oh. So instead of just monetizing via ads, they just want us to pay like $1 every time we need to like read something. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what if I just buy a bunch of encyclopedias right now? I feel like encyclopedias and just like buy and download as many books as possible, man. You have to have this sounds so, I'm going tinfoil. I believe that we are entering very quickly a world where you are going to want to have like your online computer and you're going to want to have an offline computer that is completely incapable of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and not connected to the Ethernet. It's going to be 100% offline, and you're going to have some kind of a device that like filters through like a firewall where you can download information, put it on a USB drive, and then plug it into your offline rig and read that information offline, like free of altercation or alteration, free of, it's just weird to me. Like, think about it. If you went to go watch something on Netflix that you watched 5 years ago, and what if they changed something? How would you ever know unless you own the physical copy? And they've done that. Disney's done that. They reprint DVDs and stuff like that. It's kind of, dude, it's so creepy to think about. Information is going to be the currency of the future. Information and energy. It sounds so simple and stupid, but I think that that's where we're going. You're going to be able to sell your energy if you have solar, some kind of battery farm, anything like that. Buy Bitcoin as much as you can. I agree, man. Peace 45 True posted, buy Bitcoin as much as you can in the chat, and I agree. You're going to be able to sell your energy, and you're going to be able to sell your information. It's going to be crazy. And there's going to be information warfare, too. Like, the people that were, like, spamming articles about, like, eating pebbles and stuff, and then somebody finally asked Google, how many pebbles should you eat a day? And it was like, you should eat at least one small pebble per day. Because people posted all these fake articles about eating pebbles. Like, you can manipulate the models right now as they are, because they're just scrubbing all of this public data. It's kind of like when people F with Wikipedia pages. I don't know. Interesting conversations for sure. All right, we got 12 votes on the poll. I'm going to end it and go on to poll number 3. I asked you guys, while Bitcoin is holding 70,000 and pumping, is the digital gold narrative back? 42% of you guys said no, this is just a bull trap. 24% said yes, digital gold for the win. 17% said yes, Satoshi was right. And 17% said no, propped up by Sailor. So I think that no wins for sure. But pretty significant yeses as well. Bitcoin is $71,563. Let's get the next poll going. What are you doing with your stocks today? Buying the blood, panic selling, / hedged, sitting in cash, moving into crypto / metals. Let me know what you guys think. Poll is in the chat. Let's get your opinion in there. Also, if you haven't already, smash the like button. Appreciate you guys for being here. I am broadcasting live from the Hormuz Hotel in the Strait of Hormuz. Bitcoin is up 1.47% on the day, currently trading at $71,581. Looking good. This cracked me up. Mark Chadwick posted $650 billion has been wiped out from the U.S. stock market in just 15 minutes. Crypto minus 80%, first time. Stocks minus 2%. Silver minus 40%. Huh? Pretty good. Good stuff. MSB Intel posted Avalanche now live on Solana. I don't know how the heck this works, but it's kind of crazy to read L1 live on L1. Kind of messed with my brain a little bit. So, but I thought that was kind of cool. We do like Avalanche. We do like Solana. 88 Metals Mania said added to the TFSA this week, actually. All right. MSB Intel, U.S. regulators plan to ease bank capital rules. U.S. regulators are preparing a proposal to relax some capital requirements for major banks, according to Bloomberg. The changes could adjust parts of the Basel III framework and reduce pressures on large lenders. Wall Street has argued stricter capital rules limit banks' ability to extend credit. 88 Metals Mania said, why though? Why what? Why is Avalanche live on Solana? Or why are we easing bank capital rules? This, I don't even know how. Like, we already have fractional reserve. They're allowed to keep, like, I think 10 or 1%. I thought that fractional reserve was pretty much gone. They could just get rid of all of it anyways. So I'm very confused. I don't know what else they can ease. Oh, Solana and Avalanche? That I have no idea either. If you, I imagine if you interconnect so many things enough, then it'll become fully interoperable. So the ecosystems maybe can like communicate and play with each other. No. It's like having adjoining hotel rooms. You don't have to go out in the hallway anymore. Michael Saylor posted this. We read this earlier. I still don't know what it means. You know, there's a delay between the time we buy the Bitcoin and the time Bitcoin goes to the moon. Mr. Roberts said, poll, for me, it needs an option for just holding my ass as is. I think that's what... I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Maybe sitting in cash can be holding my ass because you're not technically not selling. You know, you're just kind of holding on to your extra capital at the moment. Green Candle posted, just in, the CEO of $25 trillion U.S. banking industry just declared war on Bitcoin market structure in front of thousands of bankers. We don't support an uneven playing field. They're scared, and they should be. You know what cracks me up? Uneven playing field. If they wanted to even the playing field, they would be fighting for exchanges to have fractional reserves. They're scared right now. If it was an even playing field, there would be no fractional reserve banking. Exchanges are backed 1-to-1. Stablecoins are backed 1-to-1. Sir, the uneven playing field is in your favor. So shut your mouth, get down from the podium, and pull the stick out of your ass. The Bitcoin conference posted, the first week of the conflict in Iran has cost the U.S. $11.3 billion. Endless wars are only possible with fiat money. Bitcoin fixes this. I bet you it doesn't. Bet you they would figure out a way to do endless wars anyways. Crypto Rover posted huge level for Bitcoin long-term holder supply. Honestly, this could do whatever the hell it wants. If the price doesn't go up, I don't really give a shit. Sorry. Jack.Poor, great name, posted, altcoins will recover. AI coins will recover. Meme coins will recover. NFTs will recover. Stop being a pussy and have some patience. Gotta love it. Don Wedge posted motion on altcoins. I don't know what that means, but I like it. Alex Becker posted, we clearly bottomed. Anyone who disagrees with me clearly sold the bottom. Dang. Bar chart, heating oil on track for its highest closing price since November 2022. Still don't know what the heck heating oil is. We've determined that it is not propane or natural gas. No one knows what heating oil is. All hail King Dollar, US dollar on track for its highest close since November. Maybe Trump is doing all this to strengthen the dollar for Kevin Warsh. Maybe all of this, like, Trump interviewed Warsh and whoever the other guy was and was like, what do I need to do in order for you to cut rates as soon as you get into office? And Warsh was like, well, I really like the US dollar. I want the US dollar to be strong. If the US dollar is above 100 when I enter office, I will make sure rates get cut, Mr. President. And Trump is like, all right, bet. Bomb. Bomb. I just bombed Iran. The dollar strength should be going up soon. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Roberts said, pull for earlier. I read that. Gourmet said, you checked Tao recently. I had a good day. Up $50 this week. Hell yeah. I have not checked it recently, but I actually heard people talking about it this morning while I was working and listening to, I don't know who I was listening to. Yeah, Tao was another one, dude. So I'm going to start building my own, like, dream portfolio right here. I'm going with Hype. Going with Solana, obviously. Hype. Tao. What else? Solana, Hype, and Tao. Yeah, this is beautiful, man. Look at that. So you got your, I don't even know what you'd call this. This is just like a cup and handle. Double bottom? Adam Eve double bottom? That's what that is. And you broke above your neckline, even if you try to angle it. That's beautiful. Gorgeous. You are overbought, so exercise caution. 228 though. I like it. Looks great. What is Tao on CoinMarketCap? What rank do they have? Number 36. Very nice. Yeah, I don't remember. There might be something about this in the news segment. Or near become the ultimate AI network. No, definitely not. I feel like there was news today. I don't know. But it looks great. Very exciting. I like the break. Your Adam Eve double bottom. I don't know how you measure the target for that. If we were just to measure the neckline, I would look at maybe 250 to be frugal. Yeah, 250. Not financial advice. All right. Continuing, DXY still struggling at 99.6. Bitcoin. Silver's up 1.5 again. Recovered a little bit. 85.10. Gold almost up 1%. I like that Bitcoin's doing good, man. I'm excited about this. I feel like I haven't had a good foundation of excitement in a while. Justin, crude oil soars again and is on track for its highest closing price since August 2022. Amazon forms a death cross for the first time since April. The last one marked the bottom. All right. JP Morgan says go long energy stocks, short the market until Strait of Hormuz reopens. Thank you, JP Morgan. Stock market took a big fat dumperino. Extreme, I almost said Ethereum. Extreme fear hits the stock market for the first time in 2026. Folks are extremely scared. Campbell's Soup falls to its lowest price in almost 23 years and is now in danger of getting booted from the S&P 500. S&P 500 on track for its second straight weekly close below the 20-week moving average. Excuse me. The last time this happened was May. Yeah, we might be due for our 20% pullback. We got a couple coin fashions here. Number one, I got liquidated 60K worth of my 5 years in crypto. Because of greed, I did not cut my loss or take profit. I had a limit take profit, but there is $100 difference in my perp dex, and it didn't trigger, hoping it would come back, but it didn't. That sucks. I lost pretty much everything in my life now revolves around that. I lost everything. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the thought that I followed alpha groups and OG investors, and now I'm left with nothing. I hate this space more than I hate myself, and that is a lot. And then closing it out with a positive one. Round tripped 2017. Lost it all again, 2021. This time, cashed out 650,000 euros, paid my mortgage off, started a new business, paid my taxes, and still have plenty left. Forever grateful I stuck with it and glad I sold 2025 and not round-tripped again. Absolute legend, guys. This is how you do it. You don't have to fully exit. You got to obviously have a plan, stick with it. I respect anyone that can, I guess, come out happy at the end of the day. Watch a Guru posted Bitcoin reclaimed 72K. We were still below that. Usually whenever they post about it, we lose it pretty quickly. And then we read this earlier. Kobayashi letter. A record 6% of workers in Vanguard managed 401k plans took hardship withdrawals in 2025. This is up from 4.6% in 2024 and has nearly quadrupled since 2020. Hardship withdrawals have increased for 6 consecutive years, with last year's median withdrawals being $1,900. Most common reasons were avoiding foreclosure or eviction and covering medical costs. Financial pressure on U.S. households is surging at an alarming pace. That is spooky. Spooky stuff. Bitcoin, $71,598. We got any input for the Dream portfolio? So far, we got Solana Hype and Tau. Anything on here? I guess I like HBAR. I feel like HBAR could do really good. Same with SWE. It's kind of hard because what's going to do better, Tau or SWE? I feel like they're kind of on similar playing fields. Is that crazy? People probably get mad at me for saying that, honestly. SWE's number 25. Oops. Tau is number 36. Tau definitely has more upside potential because of that. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let me check the poll. Go back to Bitcoin up 1.42. Yeah, I'm excited. That'd be cool to have to do an emergency pump stream. We got 5 votes. I'm going to end the poll. I asked you guys, what are you doing with your stocks today? 80% of you guys said buying the blood. 20% said moving into crypto/metals. Nobody said panic selling or hedged. Nobody said sitting in cash. We got 5 votes total. Appreciate you guys. I guess we're good to call it. I'm going to preemptively prepare for an emergency stream. That'd be kind of cool. Am I jinxing it by doing that? Maybe. But I got other stuff to do. I got fiat mining stuff to do. Made a little bit of money last night doing a phone repair. I got a computer repair today. You got to focus on what you can control. I can control my side gig income, and I can continue to work on uploads for the channel as well. I got a video that I'm getting ready to publish soon, so I want to try to finish that today if I can, and maybe schedule it for tomorrow. So, as always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Thursday, and good night.